Now, today in cartoon breaking news, at least the highlights. One is, believe it or not, a very viral cat back in 2007 has now his own anime series. That is more later on. The second interesting thing about this cartoon breaking news, a fact they're actually adapting Stuck in the Video Game franchise book to an animated movie. More on that. And a third highlight from this segment probably will be Beyond actually was development to make it an anime set by the creators, but Warner Brothers decided not to. More about that later on in Cartoon Breaking News. Of course, this is the first time on my channel. My name is Rachel. I like to talk about animation, not just animation, do reviews, first impressions, cartoon breaking theories, and in fact, sometimes if I have some spare time, cartoon breaking news. Of course, today is cartoon breaking news. Before I get started, just remember a like, a comment, and subscribe really help my channel. Any one of those things really helps because how small I am. Of course, if you choose to, it really helps. Especially, I'm actually trying to break my record of 1,000 subscribers. That's the goal I'm trying to do of this year. Hope you can help or not, that's fine. Let's get started with the first breaking news. Now, this segment focus on the article called British Royal Crown, and this is sort of giving an interview with one of the creators of Artman working on a new project of Wallen Grumman. He actually gives us two or three things that is sort of interesting to talk about in his cartoon breaking news. That is basically one of them is what is the story plot of the new Wallace Grumman. The story plot is basically Wallace was sort of mad of creating robot after robot, things that wasn't that necessary to create it, but he went sort of over exaggerating to the point he created his own enemy, this gardener gnome who is a robot and a gnome. And that's sort of the plot of the story because now the gnome wants to take down Gromit and Wallace. And that's all he can say for right now. But this movie will be released on Netflix and the BBC channel. So around Christmas, but yet we don't know when Christmas this year, 2024 or 2025. I'm guessing 2025. But of course, this article also gives something more information. That also gives us the idea of the sequel before it actually made a Chicken Run Done Nugget. Because the original sequel they pitched around The Office is basically Mrs. Tweety actually want to make crocodile farm to make crocodile bags. That was the sort of the idea of the sequel, but they rejected it of the Chicken Run the Nugget. And I felt that's sort of interesting, make it different. That I wonder how they actually work and decide to make that specific sequel than the sequel we got on Netflix. But yet, well, the creator did say, hopefully remake this in a different movie using that sort of idea of Mrs. Tweety making a crocodile farm. But at the same time, I think he was just joking because how you read the article, I feel he's being sort of tongue-in-cheek on it. But besides that, when you think about the new Wallen and Gromit, you are kind of excited, you're not sure, or you feel the new idea of this new movie sounds really fun. Because to me, it feels right that Wallace created a robot, now the robot want to kill him. Sounds a reused idea, but make him to an elf because Wallace was sort of obsessed just creating things that are not really necessary, but accidentally creating a machine to actually defeat him because he's a exception. At least that's what sort of I interpreted about the reading of the article. But once again, how you feel about this new Wallace or Grumman movie? Are you excited or not? Or wait for Christmas? Tell me down below. Let me go. Let's talk about our next article. Now, our next segment focuses on a tweet from Disgusting Films, who reported that the Annie Awards 2024, if you don't know what that is basically the version of the Oscars from animation. A voice actor called Eric Bauza, that he is basically a voice actor who plays Daffy, won an award on the Annies 2024. And you expect him to get the award and have a gratitude speech, and that's it. You usually just 10 seconds you walk away. But no, instead of being gratified, he says release the Coyote versus Acme. And that's sort of surprising because that's sort of ballsy to do because you work inside the company, especially having the spot of Daffy, because you could be easily be replaced if you're against the company of Warner Brothers. Because let's face it, they're getting that part, specifically a iconic Looney Tunes character, not just any Looney Tunes character. I mean, any company who has a very iconic character, voice actor, you get chosen, takes a long time to hire another person to take your spot because it's something, it's like a legacy kind of thing. So it's sort of risky. He just said that out loud, cutting against the company saying release the Coyote versus Acme. And that's sort of crazy because how Twitter went mad memeing about this, gratifying as the voice actor who said release the Acme versus Coyote. And that's really interesting because everybody wants to see this film. Even the voice actor who plays Daffy wants to see this film to come out. Because let's face it, it sounds a really fun movie, but at the same time, maybe business reasons why they don't want to release it, because there's a lot of things that be said why it doesn't be released. Most of it is sort of rumors of they don't have the money to release it. That's why they sort of pretending not to release it, to basically has some tax write-offs, but at the same time they can sell the film, but they don't want to sell it because they don't want to be like dumbasses selling a good idea for their own rivals to actually get all the award and praise. Once again, Warner Brothers is a very unusual situation, but at the same time, it's sort of their fault. The companies, how they run the company. But besides that, how you think about what Eric Bauza said about releasing the Roadrunner versus Acme? I'm sorry, I'm starting here, but it's something that's just sort of interesting. So you have that much passion to see this film to come out, and hopefully we do. In fact, how you felt about this? You think it was a good idea he do that or not? Tap it down below. Let me know. I got nothing else to say. Just talk about the next article. If you're a big fan of vinyl and also Animaniacs, but you wanted a very good soundtrack from sort of vinyl way, then lucky for you, that's what's gonna happen on Animaniacs, because Animaniacs Wiki account actually tweeted out they're gonna release two different vinyl discs. One, the original song of the original run of Animaniacs, and the new version of the new version on Animaniacs. A total of, I think, 32 songs in total, but it will be in vinyl, cost a total of, I remember right, $42, if I remember, I put the price here somewhere. But besides that, that's sort of hype because, let's face it, Animaniacs, you sort of struggle to get the music, maybe not now, but getting a clearer music. If you don't know what vinyl is so popular and the reason why people still love it is because vinyl have this very clear, pure sound. The original voice actors or singers of what they say, they keep it the emphasis so clear, so crisp. It's sort of hard to deny. It's the only way to hear music. I mean, you could buy it on digital, the soundtracks, but it never feels clear enough nowadays. It's something you have to compare to the original songs in the vinyl, because you can tell the huge difference why vinyl is so basically beloved. Because anything with vinyl, it's just so good. That's the best way to describe it. But besides that, how you are hyped to have this on your collection or not, or you never know this was a thing, tell me down below, let me know. Let's talk about the next segment. Now, there is a charity called Operation Haffification, who basically were created by the same people who created Ghost and Mana McGee. Want to basically spread goodwill, kind of fun games, any question, or anything they want to do with the show. On top of it, will be hosts of two basically well-known cartoon creators on YouTube, be Amanda Dawson Words and Jamie Animation. I'm sorry, I kind of butchered that, but let's keep going. Anyway, basically, if you want to actually watch this stream or actually talk about it, we'll be on basically March 2024, the second Saturday, 11 to 5 p.m. on YouTube. It's up to you if you want to see it or not. I just want to basically just say it out if you want to actually watch it during that day. But all of that, if you're interested, you at least know where to go. But besides that, let's talk about the next segment. Now, you probably heard this news from Twitter/X from Pacific Discussing Films. They released a small tweet revealing there was, at one point, pinching a Bam Beyond sort of film with sort of art design to see what it actually looks like. And Warner Bros. Denied it and didn't want it because they feel that it just couldn't work. Maybe because let's face it, animation wasn't that profitable for the adult animation market. Because then, if someone yet proves adult animation works in the business sense, they're actually gonna do it. But the only problem is Batman the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is a successful thing. You think all this time when they see not one but two successful film. Okay, the first one wasn't that successful, but the second one blew out of the park. They're actually realizing maybe we should green this animated movie. It's sort of obvious you should because the art style, the fan base, this can at least get $50 to $60 million. Even they don't give it a high budget, they still have enough for an over world box office release sort of kind of deal now. Think of it sort of a scenario of stop thinking in Hollywood, thinking outside the Hollywood and all the fan base. You could make your money again, but at the same time, it's sort of hard to do that because you don't know it actually could work or shouldn't work. And to me, I think it could work, but at the same time, a good idea doesn't mean it will be a well settled idea, if I make sense here. Because sometimes there are really good movies become cult classics because they did not make the money or make sequels, or they just didn't work out for some reason. Usually it's the wrong time, the wrong moment, or people were interested on that moment. A lot of things could go wrong. So I can see why they don't want to risk it, especially in the situation Warner Bros. Really is. But at the same time, I'm with the fans like, why you like this? I mean, you have a bunch of films, and all that could easily be failure after failure after failure, and you don't want this one. It could be the whole run you're looking for. But once more, it's sort of that sort of scenario that you wish they stopped doing that and just make this film, because the images or the art design of this film could be the most greatest animated Batman film ever. But once again, it's all about business. They just don't know will be successful because you can easily trend on Twitter, on YouTube, or either other different network platform. But it doesn't really says how we'll do with the money wise profit. Like, you don't really know. Sometimes feels it's a good idea, but sometimes the good idea doesn't really land in the box office. So yeah, you understand the situation, but at the same time, how you felt about this sort of situation, we never got a Batman Beyond movie, even with this concept art just looking so good. Something I just want to talk about quickly. Now let's talk about the next segment. Now this segment is actually kind of exciting. It's a new animated party based on the Litterbox comics. In fact, couple days ago, Twitter, the creator of Litterbox, announced that they are going to start a Kickstarter of this animated pilot. In fact, the creator of Litterbox always mentioned this to be an animated series. The only problem is they never have the money or the power to actually make this as an animated series. Instead, they set it as a comic book strip, and it actually was very successful. So successful that the creator was super confident to make a Kickstarter to have enough funds to make an animated pilot. In fact, I have no doubt, and when that Kickstarter finally opens, for right now it's coming soon, and it finally opens to put the money on the project, will probably be completed under less 24 hours. I'm that confident this will be very that successful. The only thing the creator needs to do is make it well executed. Of course, some of you are wondering, what is Litterbox? Litterbox is the best way to describe it. Sort of like a world of Gumball, but only focus on the family dynamic, but more focus on how adult it really is, but also kind of kid friendly. Sort of have how to best approach it. Kids see something adult, they kind of translate their own point of view, and the parents trying to navigate to explain that. That's sort of the way some of the comic book strips sort of throw their own jokes, but not just that. Have other kind of family jokes to understand the situation they get into. They do go kind of crazy routes for just a 4 or 5 panel strip, but it's very funny, very relatable, and I'm kind of surprised they decided to make a cartoon pilot. But of course, I'm not surprised it will be very successful. If it isn't, then I'll be surprised. In fact, you never heard of the Litterbox comic book strip. Are you excited or not? Tell me down below. Let me know. Let's talk about the next segment. Now, this segment, I was sort of excited because I'm a huge fan about this franchise called the Brave Little Toaster. Brave Little Toaster, if you don't know what that is think of this sort of Toy Story, but instead of using toys, they use basically animate objects like a toaster, a radio, a vacuum cleaner, even an air conditioner that basically come alive. They're sort of left alone of this sort of college room about middle of nowhere, but their master left them, maybe ages, they never see him again, and all decide to, you know what, let's look for him. Let's find our master and reclaim our friendship with a musical. Yeah, this franchise is a musical, but at the same time, I was surprised that someone in Lost Media Twitter slash X also put something very interesting because this franchise back in 2019 they actually wanted to actually make a reboot, specifically a live action reboot of the Brave Little Toaster, and that would have been like about 4 or 5 years ago. For right now, it's not really be updated to actually find out what actually happened of the reboot. They'll be cancelled or still in development because sometimes this type of films take a lot of time to actually really think about it, what the story will be. Even they actually have a blueprint of the first movie, you can't really copy and paste it because people will be pissed off. But besides that, originally was supposed to be a short set of tests to see how it looks like. After that, they decided to adapt it to a full movie. For right now, nobody actually heard anything about it. Only thing we find out is sort of this concept art reappears on Twitter of the Lost Media page. And that's basically it. The fact that was sort of fascinating, they actually attempted to make a live action version of this because it's sort of a very low key franchise, was successful enough to keep making sequels, but not enough to continue after 3 movies. But at the same time, the franchise became weaker each single sequel because I have seen all the sequels. Believe me, it gets worse and worse. But the first one is just so weird, charming, dark, very grim, but very uplifting that I highly recommend if you can actually find the original first movie. This is something I do recommend that hopefully they do not actually remake it, but I do not mind if they decide to make it sort of a short sort of adaptation to see what it looks like and put it on YouTube. Hopefully they did do that, that maybe they have it inside the vault of the company who owns the Brave Little Toaster. That'd be Disney, who wants to make this for some reason. And hopefully they did, they released the short just if they made it. But besides that, are you interested of this making an adaptation of live action or not? You prefer to leave it alone, make it sort of nostalgic, and see other people can actually find it and see this sort of very unusual franchise. But besides that, that's all I can say. Let's talk about the next segment. Now, this segment focuses on a new animated project called Heathens. This actually came up when sort of the indie celebration happened. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it was sort of like an anniversary of all indie. Everybody just announced their projects, and one of the projects really stand out called Heathens. This basically story of this project, especially upon 2 different demons who work in the underworld, who became sort of bunny hunting, but also where there's something awful is coming really soon, and they're sort of deciding to stop it or not stop in doing sort of bounty hunting, basically finding in bars and just going crazy. But of course, this project is not yet started because they do need funds. In fact, they started a Kickstarter on April the 23rd. If you like the idea, you want to know more, go on their Twitter account /X called Heathens. They explain more of them there, but they are explaining they do need actually help. They're actually looking for more animators to help them do this project. And this project looks pretty tight. In fact, looks pretty good what they're trying to do. And the idea is sort of interesting. 2 underworld demons who want to stop sort of the end of the world, but instead of stopping them, they're just sort of bouncing all other creatures that they're actually looking for, but sort of understanding the reason why they're doing it. Sort of kind of understand yourself, and that's sort of the project they're trying to aim at. Sounds very actually interesting. Also kind of fascinating what these 2 demons want to become bunny hunters, or what they're trying to stop the sort of the war on the underworld. And I found that sort of fascinating because usually they don't go that deep of the underworld sort of mythology, only if you're Greek or myth, something like that. But besides that, I am intrigued. Hopefully they do get the manpower and the budget making this project. In fact, are you interested of this project or not? Are you seeing the sort of teaser trailer of this project? Because it looks pretty fun, looks pretty interesting, but just find out hopefully they do have enough funds to make this project. Now let's talk about the next segment. Now, this segment is be quick and fast. 2Hub is sort of reporting that Justice League Crisis Infinite Earths Part 2 will be released on the 23rd. Of course, it's a Part 2. This is a trilogy. In fact, this is sort of a quick reboot of the DC animated universe. If you want to actually start seeing animated DC, it's time to start right now, especially all three parts were coming out. I think this year, the first one that came out last year, now this one will be the April, and the next one I think end of the year. I'm not 100% sure, but it's something that I do recommend it because it is good, especially if you want to jump into a new animated universe of the Justice League. Of course, there will be a lot of deaths, a lot of retconnings, a lot of crazy things about to happen, but yet, are you excited like me? If you are, tell me down below, let me know. Let's talk about the next segment. Now, this segment is sort of kind of interesting because basically on the Twitter/X of Disney anime promos, they sort of showed the photos of the new toys from the movie Elliot. That you don't know about Elliot, what it really is. It's basically the whole movie is focused on a kid who names Elliot who became sort of the ambassador of human Earth by accident. That's sort of the whole plot of the story. But interestingly enough, the movie was delayed, supposed to come out this year, specifically on 2024 on March. But because of sort of the pandemic and also the writer's strike, they sort of had to delay all this to next year of 2025. But I find it fascinating, they made a lot of different deals to make basically sell toys to be aware of the movie to sell it. And one of the problems is McDonald's had to actually accomplish their contract to actually show all the toys of the movie. So McDonald's Latin America promoting all the toys from Elliot. And you see all the toys and every single character will appear in the movie. Yeah, I feel sort of fascinating because sometimes you can't stop this because they actually show all the characters. You also may show one of the villains in the movie, but once more, it's just sort of your interpretation, which one you think is the enemy, who is to be your friend, who will be this and that in the movie. But it's one of those things that just sort of happens with this kind of side effect. If you have to delay your movie, the other people who are with you doing business, promoting your own stuff, they cannot delay because they are on contract, or other contracts will be sort of delayed with Elliot, so they have to show it. But unfortunately, this sort of happens, but it doesn't ruin it if you're actually not looking for it or are interested in watching this sort of kind of toys to see if you're gonna collect them or not. To me, they're fine, they're adorable, they're interesting. I don't live South America, but it's one of those that just sort of self-aware this sort of thing sort of happen. Of course, let's talk about the next segment. Now, this segment actually is focused on another project called Nailed It. Nailed It is especially a drama about a runner dealing with her drama doing the track meet. And they showed like a 10-minute segment what actually it looks like, the art, the character, the whole thing. It's just sort of mind-blowing. The best way to describe it, the whole point of this project is to show you trauma of point of view in a sport athlete. How they actually deal with it during the race, and they just showed that 10 seconds. They completely nailed it. It's something I felt the trauma with our main lead of this short, because this project looks super promising. Of course, they actually asking for funds on April. For right now, they don't have the specific day. It's just sort of coming soon on Kickstarter. I highly recommend to watch this. In fact, this also come out in indie celebration, that indie day that everybody trying to present their indie projects, and one of them is this one, Nailed It, because it really feels they understood that. In fact, I am so excited to watch this short, even if it comes out or even they actually accomplish their goal in Kickstarter, because let's face it, it doesn't mean they have enough funds to actually do it, but I am excited because that says a lot, because someone who doesn't like sports is excited about something like this, just the sort of the visual way how this character see things, how they deal with their own trauma, and it just sort of fascinated me because it's sort of your interpretation or their interpretation how this character deals with it. I highly recommend just watch this 10-second scene on X/Twitter. Just look for Nailed It Project. Just watch it. You'll be surprised how good it is. Hopefully they have enough people actually looking for it and actually will actually pay the money to make this project possible. In fact, do you see this project? You see this sort of 10-minute sort of promo? Tell me down below. Let me know. Let's talk about the next project. Now, this project is sort of wild how it began being inspired and finish it right now. Especially if you've never heard of Nora the Piano Cat. If you didn't, it's sort of the first couple viral videos about cats, and this cat was sort of playing piano and just went viral back in 2007. But because the cat was so popular, it inspired a company called All Good Production to make sort of a animated project about musical for preschoolers. But I found fascinating is the inspiration why they make this, because they wanted to have more good feel and more education about music using Nora the Piano Cat. And interesting enough, Nora actually passed away not that long ago, so it's sort of in a way a tribute to give that cat to give other youngsters to actually appreciate music and educate them. It's something just sort of interesting I wanted to talk about because it's sort of rare to see this sort of inspiration kind of go around to everybody. It's just something so weird and random, but it's so wholesome and interesting that I really wanted to talk about. In fact, another reason why they good productions make this project is because a lot of schools are cutting a lot of music classes from youngsters who sort of want to know music or never had a chance to understand music. This is sort of a way they can actually contribute in the community if people want to teach their kids about music or different genre, how you make you feel. There is one version to actually show them. Try to find this on YouTube. There will be our own YouTube channel called Nora the Normal Piano Cat. Sorry, I'm stuttering here, but you get the idea. Let's talk about the next segment. Now, to end this final segment of this video, basically we could talk about Animation News Network talking about a adaptation of a very famous book series created back in 2018 called Try in the Video Game. It said we will be actually making a dancing 2D/CGI hybrid of the novel book and very popular, sold over 2.5 billion copies of this book. In fact, the whole story of this book, at least what the synopsis of this article says, is basically two kids who got trapped in the video game and attempted to sort of figure it out. But it seems sort of fun to be trapped in a video game because of explosions, death, you have multiple lives. But at the very end actually is very dangerous in realizing this was sort of a bad idea. And that's sort of the explanation of this book be adapted to at least a trilogy out animated movies, if it's the first one will be successful. In fact, you ever heard about this animated franchise? In fact, it's the first time I actually heard about it, Try of the video game. To me, sounds like an isekai from Japan, but who knows? I could be wrong. In fact, tell me down below, are you fans of this franchise books that actually are good or not, or was a good idea to adapt them to a animated movie, or no better an animated series, because I feel you have so much space to do that you could actually tell a animated series, but they decide to make an animated movie. Tell me down below how you thought about this. I found sort of interested because the possibilities is sort of limitless. Of course, the article did state they will explore how they feel and how two kids will survive in this world. But it has a lot of intrigue, especially sort of the isekai trap in the video game sort of outline, sort of twist that could be infinite, especially how you approach this as a Western way to explore storytelling. That this one has a lot of potential. In fact, I am a little excited, but at the same time a little worried because sometimes this type of stories, they water down the original sort of material. But hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully they actually justify it and make it as a well-animated adaptation. In fact, that's all I can say for right now. Just thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Oh, I forgot something very important. Do I miss anything cartoon news? Tell me down below. Let me know. And basically, that's it. Thank you for watching.